Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Mortgage Matters in Minutes. Again, I'm your host, Brent Rasmussen, owner of Mortgage Specialists. So today, what are we going to speak about? This is a very common conversation that we're having every day, is that I own a home and I want to buy a new home. How do I make that happen? What are my options? How does that get accomplished at the end of the day? And that's probably the biggest challenge that we're seeing right now. And one of the major reasons why we have a lack of inventory, because for some, this situation isn't solvable. And in this business, this industry, obviously our goals here are to help solve your problems and get you to what you want, which is out of this home and into another home. So let's talk about that today, because there are more options that are available to you. It just sometimes in this market and with certain sellers, they're not always forgiving or understanding of the situation that you want. So in a normal market, when we have equal amount of buyers and the equal amount of sellers, we look at doing what's called a contingency offer, which means, hey, I'll buy your house as long as my house sells and we close on the same day. And the reason why you want to close on the same day is usually you want to take the equity of your home and put it as a down payment on the next property. But I can share with you right now in 2023, that contingency is generally not accepted. Is it some of the time? Sure. But we're not seeing that very regularly. I would say less than 5% of the time for sure, probably even less than 1% of the time right now in August of 2023. Will that change? Sure. The markets always go up and down and change. So if we can't qualify that way, or if we can qualify and no seller will accept our offer, what are other options? And when we look at doing pre-approvals these days, we look to make sure that everybody has all other options on the table, because even though you might want to go and put an offer in a certain way, the seller might come back and say, hey, we have two other offers that are being presented this way. If you match those offers, we'll accept yours. So what we look at is, can you buy a new home without your selling? And a couple variables that we look at in regards to that is that we need to see, do you have enough income and do you have enough down payment to buy that next property? And that's always the aspect there of whether we qualify or not. And so if you have the income to afford both house payments, you definitely can qualify. But if you don't have any other access to money, either via a bridge loan or via having savings set aside, then you might not qualify to purchase without your house being sold. And that's where a lot of people land right now. The only ability they have is equity in their home. They don't have a lot. They don't want to sell their house first and then be homeless. So that can be a little bit of a challenge there of buying before selling. But if you have good savings, or if you have other additional money set aside and good income, you definitely can qualify to buy. And then afterwards, you could do what's called a recast. So that's the type of situation we're looking at a lot right now. You also could sell your home and put in the contract that, hey, we'll close on your house as long as, we find suitable housing. And suitable housing means you get under a contract, you're able to move forward, you're able to close, then the buyer is able to close on your house on the same day as well. So there's a few different verbiages there that you have to work with your lender and your realtor to make sure that that communication is happening, to put in the best offer for you to get your house accepted, or your offer on that house accepted, I mean to say. So we talk a lot about clients and bridge loans. Generally speaking, bridge loans isn't always the solution, because all a bridge loan is a second mortgage on your current house. And if you don't have enough equity there, or if you don't have enough income to afford your current mortgage, the bridge loan, and a new mortgage, we can't get you qualified on the lending side. So those scenarios happen. But I can tell you another situation that comes up is, we ask clients and borrowers, maybe they can receive a gift from a family member, or maybe they can do a small loan against their retirement plan that they can pay off after they sell their house. So we look at all options when you're buying your next home to make sure that you know what's going on in the market, what are your options on the lending side, and do you qualify for those options? That's the biggest understanding. So I would suggest right now more than ever, you do want to have a long conversation with your lender to know what the different options are and how to do them, because generally speaking, people don't buy a house once every 5, 7, 10 years, and they're not refreshed in these verbiages and what the market is bringing. So hopefully you learned a little bit about what options are available to you, whether you can buy without selling, whether you have to sell first or not. Generally, all the loans are going to come down to whether you have enough credit, income, and down payment. And how do you structure that with the best offer that you can get the house accepted? Because most sellers right now just generally aren't accepting a contingency offer. So if you have any questions for us at Mortgage Specialists, reach out anytime at 402-991-5153, or you can check us out on our website at mtg-specialist.com. Make it a great day. We'll see you here next week. Thanks all. Mortgage Specialists. Driven, trusted, reliable.